Kyrgyzstan, a country the size of Nebraska, has often been referred to as the Switzerland of Central Asia. The snow-covered Tanshan Mountains define 70% of Kyrgyzstan's topography and boast of at least one peak which elevates to over 22,000 feet. Landlocked, Kyrgyzstan borders China to the east, Kazakhstan to the north, Uzbekistan to the west, and Tajikistan to the south. Because many of the Kyrgyz still rely on agriculture, and the land is unfriendly to such enterprise, per capita income is less than $1,000, the country among the world's poorest. A visitor immediately notes the stark contrast between modernity and a population that still partially operates in a pre-technological mode of existence. Over 80% of Kyrgyzstan is Muslim, and Islam is growing, with new mosques being regularly built. The Kyrgyzstan parliament has banned proselyting and religious activity in schools and all activity by unregistered organizations. The only way to represent Christ in Muslim countries is by doing, and there is plenty to be done. In June of 2010, approximately 100,000 Uzbeks fled Kyrgyzstan for Uzbekistan and other surrounding countries. Approximately 2,000 Uzbeks were killed, plus hundreds more raped, tortured, and injured. Kyrgyz destroyed at least 1,000 homes, burning, looting, and gutting them. What were once comfortable inhabitable houses are now shells or just slabs of concrete. I have driven through blocks of rubble with only a half dozen or so houses having been rebuilt. Most of the destruction was done in Osh, a city of over 200,000 people. The hatred between the Uzbeks and the Kyrgyz is decades deep. The nations border each other. The Uzbeks are more industrially oriented, while the Kyrgyz still depend on the vocations of farming and husbandry. Thus, Uzbeks have migrated to Kyrgyzstan to take advantage of mining jobs, primarily gold, and other mechanical industries. Thus, the Uzbeks are more economically prosperous than the Kyrgyz. The ethnic hatred and tension produced a similar conflict in 1990, but much less damage was done because of the intervention of the Soviet Union, which was then still intact. The bad news is that in both of these wars, Muslims killed Muslims. The good news is that some of the Muslims have turned to Christians for wisdom, discernment, and steps for reconciliation. Christians have already begun to rebuild houses. One of the builders took me inside of a freshly minted house built for $15,000. The Uzbek family beamed with pride as they showed me their new dwelling, a small beacon standing in the midst of blocks of rubble. I talked with two families living in temporary shelters, representing 9 persons each. They continue to clean and carry off charred debris, hoping for the miracle of a new house. Newfields is committed to building new houses as funds are made available. In return for your gift of $100 or more, we will send you the family story related to the specific building project. For $15,000, we can provide a substantial modern brick dwelling of approximately 600 square feet. Not a lot, but still sufficient for those who don't define life as 5 bedrooms and 3.5 baths. 1 out of 6 people in the world lack suitable drinking water. 1 billion people daily walk to a public tap, an open canal, a dug well, a river, a reservoir, or pond, and carry buckets of water however far needed, often over a mile, to provide their family with one of life's most essential necessities. Because this water is almost always contaminated, sewage, trash, animal waste, toxins, etc., it has to sit until the sediment is extracted and then boiled. The World Water Council estimates that 1.8 million people die every year from diarrheal diseases, 90% of them children under the age of 5. It further states, expanding access to water and sanitation is a moral and ethical imperative rooted in the cultural and religious tradition of communities around the world. Dignity, equity, compassion, and solidarity are values shared all over the world. Extending water supply and sanitation services to poor households would largely contribute to promoting them. Some 50 miles northwest of Osh lies Kyrgyzstan, a town of about 30,000 people. All of them obtain water from an open canal. Before the collapse of the Soviet Union, drinking water was provided by a 500-foot deep well, which filled a reservoir. The water was in turn pumped to taps, spigots, spaced 50 yards apart throughout the village. The well is dry, and the reservoir now sits empty. Within the last year, the Red Cross has dug another well and provided a pump to distribute the water. One huge problem still exists, for which the Red Cross states that it has no funds to remedy. The spigots that 20 years ago provided water are now in disrepair. The metal has rusted and corroded. Thieves have ripped away whatever was salvageable and sellable, and dirt and debris now fill up the manholes. I met with a city engineer who stated they can be rehabilitated for approximately $185 each. A rehabilitated spigot will provide water for 100 people. What better investment could one make? Will you please join New Fields Ministries as we extend the kingdom of God to Kyrgyzstan and other Central Asia countries?